Yo, what is going on YouTube? I am Germ here. Thank you guys so much for checking out this banger of a video. I would appreciate it a ton before we get into it if you dropped a like on it real quick. Helps out the video and my channel a ton. And consider checking out the first link in the description below, twitch.tv/I_am_germ. Obviously, that's my Twitch channel. I'm going to be streaming there a lot more often in the near future. So check it out. That'd be dope. Let's get into it. So one of the big stories that we did have coming out today was this from LEC Wooloo. It's actually crazy because Wooloo had a ton of tweets coming out today. He's a guy who goes from being very inactive on Twitter to just rattling off bangers and bombs and everything. And there was a lot of people tweeting today. You know, Zers had some tweets today. Wooloo had some tweets. All kinds of accounts getting going. People are saying offseason is here. It's time. And I've been talking about this a lot because as Worlds goes on, almost all the teams from the West are eliminated. 18 of the 20 Western teams are done. It's officially offseason for them. We assume it's going to be offseason time for Cloud9 and Mad Lions sooner rather than later. At most, we have like a couple weeks left for them. So this is where things are really going to be heating up. And yeah, like Zer says, there's a lot of people talking about how tomorrow is going to be a big day. I don't know if that means more people leaving teams, if we're going to start finding out who's actually coming to teams. But one of the big stories, obviously one of the biggest stories of the day, was this from Wooloo. Rumor, the future of Bwipo at Fnatic is currently uncertain. The player is exploring free agency in several roles as told by several sources. So a lot of severals going on there, a lot of very big stuff. One of the first part is several sources talking about this. Obviously, that's always best when you're hearing this from multiple different angles. Obviously, we don't know that he's hearing it from several different sources. It's just Wooloo telling us that he is, so we got to take his word for it. But I don't really think this is shocking to people. I think this is very big news. You know, there's kind of two things. There's like important news, shocking news. The best stories are both. But I think this is important, but I don't think it's necessarily shocking. I mean, when I looked at like the Reddit threads after Fnatic got eliminated, one of the top comments was like, yeah, Bwipo's gone for sure. You know, people are kind of expecting this, especially once Bwipo posted to Twit longer and actually admitted publicly that he was upset with Fnatic management, that was why he unfollowed them on Twitter, that he didn't like how they handled the whole world situation, whether it be with upset or everything else that was involved. That's not a good sign. For Bwipo to be that upset with Fnatic management, to be unfollowing them on everything this close to free agency, you know, like, yes, time heals all wounds. You know, I'm sure Fnatic and Bwipo aren't at a place where they couldn't recover the relationship, where they couldn't bring things back together, but they don't have a ton of time to do that. Time is not really on their side when, again, it's October 19th. Worlds is almost done. Free agency, I believe, starts in less than 30 days. So again, if there was a time to not be having bad blood, to not be fighting, to not be unfollowing, you know, your team management on Twitter, it would be right now. So again, a lot of people are not surprised. Fnatic had a very up and down year. There's some rumors that maybe Bwipo wants to go back to top lane, and obviously he's not going to be doing that on Fnatic since they have Adam. Who knows if Fnatic wants to keep Bwipo? You know, I haven't really heard whether that is the case or not, but what is interesting, again, is that they are saying he's exploring free agency in several different roles, meaning he could play top next year. He could go back. I mean, historically, over the last couple of years, Bwipo has been seen as one of the strongest top laners in the West. This guy has had very good results as a top laner, both domestically and internationally. And now, also, you throw this whole jungle craziness into the mix where he just only has one split of jungling under his belt, but yet again, he was seen as one of the best junglers in the West. And honestly, a lot of people were saying he was probably Fnatic's best performing player at Worlds, saying, you know, that he was looking really good. And this is good for a lot of different reasons. One, it gives a lot more teams hope. You know, a lot more teams are like, oh, well, we don't have a jungle spot open, but we have a top lane spot open. Maybe we can reach out to Bwipo. Some teams don't have top lane open, but they have jungle open. So it just brings more teams into the basket, which is great for Bwipo. That gives Bwipo insane negotiating power. Not only is he going to be a free agent, not only is he an accomplished international player in the West, but being able to play different positions, being able to have different teams fighting over each other. is going to help him get a ton of money. You know, there's already rumors that he's going to be getting a ton of money because whether he's going to North America, whether he's staying in Europe, there's going to be some huge money offers being thrown at him. But I think this is really, really helping his case. Now, is he actually willing to play two different positions? You know, if you're trying to get two teams to fight over you about, one team wants you as jungle, one team wants you as top, you actually have to be willing to play either position going into the next year. So, somebody could call his bluff and, he might end up losing out on some money because I don't think at the end of the day he's going to play a position that he doesn't want to play, that he doesn't believe in himself in playing because, to put all the time, practice, hours, all of that into it, you really have to enjoy what you're doing. I think we saw that with Perks. He could play AD carry. He was pretty good at it. He was successful at it, but he didn't love it, and he couldn't get himself up for it, year in and year out, split in and split out. So that is definitely something there. It'll be very, very interesting to see if he is actually willing to play both positions, what teams end up being interested in him, and in what position. But it does seem like, this tweet says his future is uncertain, but I think a lot of people are trending towards Bwipo being out at Fnatic. Again, with all the drama, all the craziness of Worlds, and how up and down of a year they had, and the fact that they went 1-5 at Worlds, and the fact that Bwipo, isn't getting any younger. He probably wants to cash out, go make a big bag. I could definitely see him leaving, and then that's going to really open up the door for who Fnatic is going to have as their jungler for next year. A lot of the top junglers in Europe are locked up. A lot of them have teams. Are they going to look to the European regional leagues? Is Razork maybe going to be available? There's a lot of different ways they could go, but, it's like Selfmade, Yankos, Inspired, El Yoya. These guys are all on teams. These guys are all locked up. I don't necessarily know what they're going to do. And yes, some people have been saying, oh, wouldn't it be crazy if he went to G2 in the top lane? And that would be pretty crazy, but I don't know if that would happen. I know there's been a lot of rumors about G2 Broken Blade. Obviously, it seems like that maybe isn't a done deal just yet, but it seems like, we're kind of trending in that direction. And with Bwipo taking the last split off in the top lane, and honestly, the fact that he didn't look that amazing in spring of 2021 in the top lane, I could definitely see how G2 Bwipo would be a little bit unlikely. I think it's much more likely that he goes to like a Vitality, maybe in the top lane. They're gonna have some issues in the top lane. Someone said TSM Bwipo. I don't really think that that's going to happen. But I could see him going to a North American team because obviously there's going to be a lot of North American teams that have some big money. And a lot of North American teams struggle with viewership, struggle with branding, struggle with fans. And adding Bwipo to your team suddenly gives you a ton of team recognition, a ton of brand recognition, a ton of new fans, a ton of new life, a ton of new energy. And again, this is a guy who's very, very good at the game as well, on top of having a big brand, on top of having a big fan base, has a great attitude. The one curveball in this whole situation seems to be Bwipo and his girlfriend. I don't know, if you're having relationship issues, if you guys are struggling, if you guys are stressing out and all this stuff, I don't necessarily know if the best answer would be, hey, now I'm going to go move to the United States. I don't know if that exactly fits in the picture. If that's how things go, maybe he'll have to stay in Europe. Maybe he'll want to stay in Europe. And then there's always the option of him retiring as well, because he has a very, very successful career in the future as an analyst, as a coach, as a streamer. He can still make a ton of money doing a bunch of different things. He doesn't need to play top. He doesn't need to play jungle. He doesn't even need to play professional League of Legends. So it'll be interesting to see where this all goes. But yes, one of the biggest rumors coming out today, Bwipo, his future with Fnatic, is up in the air. And I can't wait to see what happens. It's going to be very, very interesting and exciting to follow.